Hey Geek fans, I'm Jake Does It Tells, and today we're gonna do a review of Sword Art Online. All right, get the fuck out of here. So I'm gonna do a review of season one first, just a little brief overview of what happened then, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts of season two. So at the start of season one, they're stuck in SAO. They're stuck. They can't get out. If they get disconnected, they die. If they die in the game, they die in real life. So we got Kazuto, Kirito, Kirigaga as the main character, and then he meets Asuna Yuki, and guess what? They fall in love. Romance happens. They even adopt a kid who's not really a real person. She's just part of the game. But they just fleshed so much out in that season. They gave us so much character development, and it was so great that you wanted to follow them through this journey. So at the end, they get out. Then then before they take down the person who's in charge, really, who set this whole thing up, they they go into a new game, Alpine Online, where they're not stuck and going to die. But after they get out of that, they pretty much get back to their lives, and that's where we pick up in season two. We pick up with them just back in school, just being normal kids again. Except Kirito, he's inventing some really advanced technology, even though he's only like 18 or something. No big deal. So at the beginning of this, there's pretty much three parts to this season. In the first part, there's Gun Gale Online, GGO, and that was absolutely my favorite part of this season. That was uh, that was the part where there's so much intensity and so many great storytelling details just came about in that part of the season, and we get our what I think is the greatest villain of the show so far, Death Gun. He was so good. He was pretty much the Darth Vader of the show. And speaking of Star Wars, Kirito gets a fucking lightsaber in this season. It even makes the sounds. It's a lightsaber. And then he meets Sinon, who I think was a really great character, especially how they added so much character development in just that 1/3 of the season. You get to know so much about her, and I just really like that character and what they did with her, and how she had to go through that whole mental trauma of how she was afraid of guns because of what happened to her as a kid. Now she's in a game called Gun Gale Online, and that's how she deal. That's basically her therapy of dealing with the incident that happened when she was a child. But moving on from that to the second part of the season, which I didn't like nearly as much, but it still was interesting. We're back in Alfheim. They're going on some really cool mission, but it was basically just like the filler of the season. It didn't really matter that much, except they get Excalibur, which is pretty cool. And then my favorite part from that section of the season was when Thor came about, but he was disguised as a woman, and that was a pretty funny part in the season as a whole. But then moving on to the final part of the season, where they meet Yuki. So I actually really liked the third part of the season because you get more of Asuna in that. My my biggest grief about the this entire season was that we didn't get that much of the continuing relationship of Kirito and Asuna. It just wasn't there. At the beginning of the season, it was a little bit. Maybe when they're just like in their lives, they're acting normal again. That we get to see that there. But then, as soon as Kirito goes back into Gun Gale, it's just totally gone for pretty much the rest of the season. But then it kind of gets back to that in Asuna's storyline. We get to see a little bit more of that as we get to see more of her and what she's been going through when Kirito was in Gun Gale and when all this stuff was going down. We get to see what she was doing, and then when Yuki gets introduced, that was a really I didn't really like her character at first. I was like, I don't really care about this. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really want to burn a cut there. Burn a cut there, Shane. I want to think about where I want to start.
What'd you do?
I just lost my train of thought. I didn't really know where I was going with that.
But you were talking about an asana?
Yeah, I know. I just
So
want.
start talking about asana.
Okay, so when Asuna met Yuki, I thought that was it was a really interesting relationship at first. So that was right off the bat, but I didn't really care about Yuki's character all that much until we got to know what Yuki's character is all about. How she's dying from this disease, and we just get to know about her. And then the series kind of changed there for me because Kirito is barely in this part of the season. It's all about Asuna. And then, and I can neither confirm nor deny that I cried at the end of this season because that was a very emotional last episode with what happened to Yuki at the end. It just so sad. I so as it well, I didn't really like this season as much as the first one. It definitely got back to the emotional part at the end. It just didn't hit my emotional heartstrings where I wanted it to uh, with Kazuto and Asuna's relationship, with Yui being their kid and how they're bringing her into the real world, kind of. That was really interesting, but it didn't have as much emotion behind it as it did in the first season, and they really got back to that with Yuki. So, overall, I'm going to give this season an 8 out of 10. Well, the first season was a 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved the first season. This season, I thought it was kind of weird that they split it up into like three different parts that were all like loosely connected. Um, but overall, I really liked the new characters they introduced. I really hope we see Death Gun again because he was the greatest villain of the show, and the people the two brothers that were behind that, just the one that we got to know, he was so insane. He was so sick, and just not in a good way. And I want to see Death. I don't want to see him back because he was fucking psycho. But I want to see Death Gun because he was such a great character, and I just want to I'm really interested to see what's going to happen in season 3 because they left it open for another season, and I really want to know what's going to happen and what was happening with the guy that created Sao, how he was involved with the technology that Yuki was using to while she was getting treated for her disease. So there's a lot open. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with season 3. So once that comes out, I know it's going to be a long time because they got dub all the Japanese episodes and get them over to America. So it's going to take a while, just like it took a while for this season to come out. But once that happens, I will do a review of it, so you can stick around for that. This has been Geeks at the Movies, and thanks for watching.